Hi and welcome to this lesson. In this lesson, we are going to be talking about the writing task 2 band descriptors. Okay, this is an extremely important lesson because you're going to learn exactly what is needed in your essays. Usually people lose scores because they're not really sure about what they should include in the essays and what they should not. People focus too much on the content and less on the delivery side of things, less on what IELTS needs you to do. And you should do exactly that to get your score. It's as simple as that. Okay, so we're going to break down these 4 band descriptors in such detail that you will understand there are certain hidden aspects. Okay, we're going to identify that and then you're going to implement that in the exam. All right, so let's see. We're going to take one band descriptor at a time. We're going to start with task response first. Okay, so let me zoom this up for you a bit. Yeah, here we go. Now, usually the complaint from students is that I'm stuck at a band 6, right? Which is at this point. Now, if you are at a band 5, then look at this. You have addressed the task only partially, whereas in band 6, you have addressed all parts of the task. So if you are missing out on a section or a part of the question, then you're not even going to get a band 6. You're going to get a band 5 only. All right? So you're straight away out of the game if you missed answering a part of the question. Number 1. Now, if you've done that, but you have addressed one part more than the other one. Okay, so if for example it's about advantages and disadvantages, you've written a lot about advantages, but you've just touched upon the disadvantages, you're going to get only a band 6. All right, it should be a balanced essay. Now look at this. You have to present a relevant position, but conclusion may become unclear or repetitive. Now, what do I mean by unclear or repetitive? If in the conclusion, you are not very clear, if this is an opinion essay and you have not paraphrased and reiterated your opinion, and if you have not made it crisp, that is, what happens is you write your opinion, okay, and then say you have once again stated some reasons as to why your opinion holds good, which you have already done in the body paragraphs. Now, if you start repeating them, then you're going to lose scores again. So the conclusion should once again be highly targeted and to the point. All right. Now look at this one, the last one. Presents relevant main ideas, but may become inadequately developed or unclear. Now see how important this is. If you have put forth an idea, you cannot afford to simply leave it loose. You have to develop it. You need to give your example. You need to give some experiences. It has to be fully developed. If it's not, you are only at a 6. Okay, this is how students lose scores. So please ensure that you are doing more than this. So what's more than this? It's a band 7. So let's see what band 7 asks us to do. Band 7 first asks you to address all parts of the task. Okay, so that you have to. But you present a clear position throughout the response. Now, what do you mean by presenting a clear position throughout the response? Is, say for example, you have a question where the question is about cooking food at home versus buying food outside. Say that's the question. Your opinion is that cooking food at home is better. Okay, you will have to present the other side. You will have to say that people are nowadays opting to buy food outside because of ABC reasons. But then you will have to tone that opinion down. You will have to say that yes, there are some conveniences, but then they really fall flat when compared to the advantages that you have while cooking at home. So you will have to tone down the other side. Only when you do that, you're presenting a clear position. This is very, very important, a clear position. Okay? If you are not toning it down, then your essay does not have direction. All right? So please pay attention to that. Next, when you are creating your ideas, now we are talking about this point here, okay, the last one, this one. Now, when you are developing your ideas, you have extended it well, you have supported it with examples, but if your example is too generic, okay, now if, let's take the same example of cooking at home versus buying food outside, and you simply say that people are buying food outside because they can save time, a general example. If you can give a specific example and say that in India, over 50% of the working professionals do not get time in the morning to have breakfast. Therefore, they end up buying breakfast at some fast food place close to their workplace. Okay, so if you can give such targeted examples, you are going to go above this. So this is basically a flaw that is found in band 7. If you're going to overcome that, now you have started gaining points in band 8. So let's go to band 8 and see what's going on here. Now we go to the higher bands, the 8 and the 9 bands. And why is this so difficult to get an 8 and 9 band? You're going to get to know now. 8, see, sufficiently addresses all parts. What did 7 say? 7 said addresses all parts. 8 said sufficiently addresses all parts. Which means now if there are different angles to your question, you have adequately plugged all the loopholes. You've covered that particular question from different angles. Okay, presents a well-developed response. See, to the question with relevant, extended, and supported ideas. So it should be a well-developed response, which means whatever idea you give, it's complete with ideas, with examples, with experiences. Look at band 9 now. 9 says fully addresses all parts. See, 7 says addresses all parts. 8 says sufficiently addresses all parts. 9 says fully addresses all parts. Okay, now what do you mean by fully addresses? Now, fully addresses means that there is absolutely no loophole in your particular response. You have plucked it from all possible angles possible. Well, why is it so difficult? Because you only have so much time for the exam, right? You've probably allocated maybe 30 to 40 minutes for task 2. And how are you going to get so many ideas? How are you going to elaborate and write a well-rounded response for all these ideas, right? That's why it's difficult. That's why it's at a band 9. But if you can do it, hey, you get that score. All right. Once again, now with respect to full development of your particular point, it's kind of the same. Okay. 8, 7, 8, 9, you just make it better. But 9 says fully addresses. So you have to cover it from all angles possible. Okay. But what are the major errors that you do? Number 1, you keep it unbalanced. So the moment you keep it unbalanced, like this one, fully covered than the others, some parts are fully covered than the others, bam, you're at a 6. Okay. This is where students falter. So ensure that 1, your essay is balanced. 2, you're trying to plug all the loopholes possible and you're trying to address a particular point, a particular side from all angles. Okay, that's really important. That's how you become better in task response. Right? So what was the other point though before we move ahead is your examples should not be too general. Okay, they should not lack focus. You should not, the example should almost not sound like the main idea itself. Okay, just because you said for instance or for example doesn't make it an example. The examples have to be specific. If you can put some numbers, even better. Okay, so this is very important, followed by this one. Okay, these are the places where usually students make errors. Okay, so we are good to go with respect to task response. So now let's talk about coherence. Okay, with coherence and cohesion. Now this is an interesting game. See, in coherence and cohesion, what students think is that it's completely a game of cohesive devices. Cohesive devices, now this is band 7, okay? This is 7, this is an 8, and this is a 9, right? Sorry for my horrible handwriting. Okay, 7, 8, 9. So, if you're talking about cohesive devices, what are cohesive devices? You're linking words, moreover, however, although, even though, for instance, for example, all these, right? So, some underuse or overuse is permitted in band 7, right? It's permitted. So, if you've used them and you've used them appropriately, so this is very important. Now, you should not use them when it's not required. You are not adding a new information, but you're still saying moreover, then it doesn't make sense. Okay, you have to use it appropriately, but if you've used it too much, it's fine. You've not used it, you've used it sparingly, again, it's okay. All right, you'll be forgiven. Now, however, as you go up, as you go to a band 8 or a band 9, okay, band 8, we'll get to it later. Look at band 9. Uses cohesion in such a way that it attracts no attention. Very important. See, that's why a band 9 is very difficult in coherence and cohesion. Because in band 7, you are allowed to use cohesive devices in a straightforward manner. Okay, you're allowed to say moreover, however, in a straightforward manner and indicate that, hey, I'm adding new information. I'm bringing a twist here when you say however. But when you go to band 9, you have to make the essay cohesive. You have to ensure that it flows in a certain direction without indicating explicitly. So the content itself should be molded in such a way. That's why it's extremely difficult. But if you can do it, it's a 9. So always, when students prepare, they're preparing from this angle. It's okay that to set your target at a 7 and do this, it's fine. But for really skilled writers, well, they can aim to get this. Okay. Now coming to the other points of coherence and cohesion. Look at 6. What's happening? Okay. Arranges information and ideas coherently. All right. So each sentence sticking to the other one, and there is clear overall progression. So overall, the essay moves in a certain direction. It's not all jumbled up. All right. Next is, look at this. May not use referencing clearly or appropriately. Okay, which means referencing. Now, if I'm using pronouns, now what do pronouns mean? You have your subject pronouns like he, she, we, right? You have your object pronouns like him, her, their, all these, right? And you can use it, all these pronouns. Now, if you have used a pronoun that's say them, okay, you've used the pronoun them, and there are 2 plural nouns in the previous sentence. Now, what does the word them refer to here, right? There is some kind of confusion in it. So if you are not able to address it clearly, if this is not coming out clearly, then there is a problem. Okay, so you have to ensure that your pronouns relate to the nouns very, very clearly and explicitly. Very important. So that's how you lose marks here. Okay, so be careful. What are the other points? Just get a 6. Well, do your referencing properly. May not always use referencing clearly. So you need to get it right at least at some points. Okay. Next, cohesive devices effectively, but there is some faulty or mechanical cohesion. Again, very, very important. If the examiner gets to know that you have simply memorized a bunch of words and you have put it out, it will fall under mechanical usage. And if you're using these words mechanically, you are only at a 6. Okay, this is a 6-band descriptor. So be very, very careful to ensure that you're using it appropriately. Under overuse is okay, but mechanical one is should not be there. Okay. Now, the other one, of course, about paragraphing. So cohesion has multiple dimensions here. One, paragraphing, not always logically. So if the question has 2 parts, use it for different body paragraphs. Have an introduction paragraph, have a conclusion paragraph. I'm sure you know that, right? So ensure that your paragraphing is proper. Presents a central topic within each paragraph. So one paragraph has only one idea. I cannot emphasize this enough. One paragraph has only one idea, one central topic that you are elaborating and developing properly. Okay? So remember, you have to paragraph properly. 8 and 9 basically says make it better. Use paragraphing sufficiently and appropriately. Skillfully manages paragraphing. Okay? So paragraphing should not be a problem for you. But you have to have only one central topic. Okay? And only if you do that, you will get a 7. Alright? Next, range of cohesive features. Some under overuse is okay, but to get an 8 or a 9, your cohesion should not attract attention. Alright, the next one is that there should be overall progression. So this I think you will do, and the essay should move in a certain direction. If that's happening, there is some kind of logic, then you are at a 6. You make it better, sequences information and ideas logically about say for example, the points get stronger with each one. Okay, so accordingly you're increasing the intensity of your supporting ideas. Well, if you're doing that, you have some kind of logic, some basis, then here you are, you're at an 8. Okay, so that was coherence and cohesion, some insights we learned out of this. Now let's talk about lexical resource. Lexical resource, to simply put, it is vocabulary, right? So what can we do about it? What can we do to improve our vocabulary really, really quickly? Let's see. Now, regarding vocabulary, you are at a 6. Now, this is a 6. Okay, why are we at a 6? We'll be at a 6 if we have an adequate range of vocabulary. So you need to have decent range to even be at a 6. You see that? So if I'm talking about something that's absolutely necessary, all right, I cannot, instead of repeating the word necessary, if I'm using words like compulsory, mandatory, imperative, if I'm using these different words, hey, I've got a good range. But if I keep repeating the word necessary throughout the essay, then I don't have a good range. Okay, so maybe you'll even be given a 5 because you have limited range. So it's very important that you develop a range of vocab. All right. Next, attempt to use less common vocabulary but with some inaccuracy. So let's take the word, say, meticulous. Meticulous is to do something with deep planning, okay? To do something with utmost attention. Now, I can say that I studied meticulously to crack IELTS. That's okay. But if I say that I drove meticulously to reach my destination, well, you don't really drive meticulously. It's inappropriate usage. Okay, so that will be attempts to use less common vocabulary, like the word meticulous, but there is some inaccuracy. So if that's happening, I'm at a 6. Okay, but if I don't even attempt, then of course I'm at a 5. Now, some errors in spelling, word formation are present, but they don't impede communication. So the spelling, the word formation, they're not so bad that I can't even understand. Now, if that happens, then you're at a 5. But there are some errors, but the examiner is trying to guess, all right, this is what the candidate means. You're given a 6. Okay. Now, beyond that, now how do we make lexical resource even better? Uses a sufficient range to allow some flexibility and precision. Go to 8 and 9, wide range of vocabulary, fluently and flexibly to convey precise meanings. Use a wide range with very natural, sophisticated control of lexical features, rare slips. Now, what do I mean by that? Now, this keeps getting better with the word precision. Are you able to see the word precision? Precise, sophisticated. Now, what do I mean by this is that if there is a word that can convey exactly what I need to say, all right, without forming huge sentences, meaning if I can convey more by writing less, then that's the perfect fit for lexical resource. Let me give you an example. If I say that Sachin Tendulkar was very talented for his age, at the age of 16, he made his debut at the international level. Okay, and then I go on. Instead, if I simply say that Sachin Tendulkar was a precocious talent, the word precocious means something that's happening ahead of an age, usually referred for talent and so on. Okay, so the moment I use the word precocious talent, I have conveyed the whole thing. That Sachin Tendulkar, although people are seen on the international stage at an age of, say, 21, 22, here is this young boy who is seen on the international stage at the age of 16, right? Just with the word precocious. Okay, so that is precise meanings, sharp, exact meaning. So if you can use such words, your band score is going to increase. Okay, skillfully uses uncommon lexical items. Similarly, here uses less common lexical item. Here, there's some awareness of style and collocation. Style and collocation, what do I mean by that? Collocation is a set of words that usually go together. Okay, I apologize profusely. I can say I apologize sincerely. I am very sorry. These are common words. If I have to use it in a less common style, I would say I apologized profusely. Well, now that's collocation for you. Okay, so there I start scoring. Now with more of these usages, with more of these natural usages, I keep getting better. Some inaccuracies are allowed, but with better usages, you keep going high. All right. Now, once again, some errors in word choice, spelling allowed. Again, here lesser and here hardly any. So basically, students ask me, how many errors can I make in my writing task 2? How many spelling errors are allowed? How many pronunciation errors are allowed? Punctuation errors are allowed. Okay. Now, this answer depends on the size of your errors. Now, if you're making a very basic mistake, even one error is enough to pull your score down. But if you're making slips, okay, small errors, minor errors that are found usually, then it would be forgiven. All right. Now, always try to make as less errors as possible. It's a no-brainer. Don't be complacent with the fact that, okay, I'm allowed to make so many errors. Okay, never go with that mindset. Because look at this, may produce occasional errors, produces rare errors, rare minor errors. So even minor errors are rare in band 9. So you have to attempt writing an essay without errors. That itself, see, is allowing you to make this journey upward. Less errors itself. Apart from that, you use a wide range of vocabulary with precision. Very important. Okay, convey more in less words. That is precision. And of course, your usage of collocation in less common words. Okay. So, are we clear about what lexical resource is? Okay. Now let's go to grammatical range and accuracy. Grammatical range and accuracy is also a very interesting band descriptor. Let's see. Let's see how we can make it better. Okay, here you go. Now, grammatical range and accuracy, look at what 6 tells you. 6 tells you that you use a mix of simple and complex sentence forms. Alright? And you make some errors in grammar and punctuation. So there are some errors. Okay? But they rarely reduce communication. Now, if you're making errors when people can't even understand what you've mentioned, then a lot of work is required. You have to work upon your writing, your language, the basics itself. Okay, but if you're making errors that usually people are able to understand, then you're okay, then you're good to go. Okay, now remember, uses a mix of simple and complex sentences. What I mean by this is that simple sentences are standalone sentences. Okay, complex sentences are those that have a dependent and independent clause. If I say I like apples, okay, simple sentence. Okay, even though I like apples, I have not eaten any for a long time. That's a complex sentence. Okay, I have a dependent clause and an independent clause. Now, if you can use a variety of such complex structures, you go to a 7. Okay, now you use a wide range of such structures, more of it, all right, and difficult ones, you're at an 8 now. Okay. Similarly, you have wide range with full flexibility and accuracy, which means you have used it exactly where it's required to convey the exact right meaning. Then you are at a 9. Now, there is another way to win this particular band descriptor. One, of course, use complex structures, wide range of it with exact right usage. That's one. What's the other one? The other one is simply to make lesser mistakes. Look at this. Make some grammar errors. Has good control of grammar but may make a few errors, makes only very occasional errors, okay, very few, majority of them are error free, rare minor errors only. So even at a band 9, you're allowed to make minor errors, even at 9, okay. But then look at how quickly it escalates. Some errors, good control, few errors, makes only occasional errors, most of them are error free, only rare. Okay, which means if you want to move this way, if you want to make this journey up the top, you have to improve your grammar. You simply have to improve your grammar. Okay, so basically that was this lesson on band descriptors. If we have to summarize the whole chart, all we will do is that we'll see for task, response and achievement. Number 1, what did we learn in this particular band descriptor, task response? We learned that you should have one central idea, you should develop it fully. Okay, you should have a balance. You should not write one part too much and then you just touch upon the others. That should never be done. Okay, you address all parts, you try to cover all the loopholes. Next, about coherence and cohesion. This one. About coherence and cohesion, what did we understand? We understood that mechanical usage is not allowed. You should be very careful. If you're using it mechanically, you're only at a 6. You're using it appropriately, you move to a 7. But you write it in such a way that you don't even need these devices. Okay, and you write it in such a way that it flows beautifully without explicit usage. Only then you're at a 9. Right? What else did we learn here? We learned that you should use paragraphing well. You should have a central topic within each paragraph. You should not have 10 ideas in one paragraph. One idea developed fully with examples and experiences. Okay. All right. Now we move to lexical resource. What did we learn here? Number 1, you should have less common vocabulary. You should be using them, and if you use them with precision, the word precision means to convey more in less words, to convey exactly what you want to with maybe one word. If you are using that one exact word, there you go. You're going to get a great lexical resource score. Okay. What else? You're allowed to make some errors in spelling and all that, but the lesser errors you make, the better your score becomes. Okay. Similarly, for grammar, lesser errors, better the score. So your first and foremost objective should be to just write an error-free essay. That itself is going to make your job easier. But after that, you should use a mix of simple and complex and have more varieties to keep escalating to the top. Right? So I hope you learned different ideas and tools now as to how you should be improving on each of these band descriptors. It's just not the topic of these band descriptors, but a lot that are written within these boxes that will give you a clear-cut roadmap on how exactly you should be writing a task 2 essay. All right. So I hope you learned out of this. Do well, keep studying hard, keep practicing, and I'm sure you're going to get that band score. All the best. Do think of joining the Grassroots Gold program. It has given immense success stories to all these candidates here. You can see tons of these. You can also see some of our interviews that we are taking of successful students. So this is the entire course. So let me quickly explain this to you as well. We have a huge comprehensive video lesson course. It covers listening, it covers your reading, it covers writing, it covers speaking as well. And it also covers your grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. So it's an extremely comprehensive course. We have live classes during the weekends. So Saturdays and Sundays, 8 to 10 p.m. exclusively for the Gold members. We have live classes. We have 15 one-on-one reviews. Okay, so this is extremely important. This is the one feature that helps people to get their scores. 15 one-on-one interactions. So this can be 10 for writing, 5 for speaking. It can be 12 for writing and 1 each for the other 3. Up to you to mix and match. Okay, but it's all one-on-one, directly with the chief coaches, and it'll help you immensely. We have unlimited doubt clearance, so you can ask as many doubts as you want over WhatsApp. We give you our personal numbers, ask as many doubts as you want to. We have specific crisp study material covering vocabulary, collocations, idioms, phrasal verbs. So the English language has over 2,000 or even more idioms. Okay, so how do you remember all of them? You don't. All you have to do is that we have done the research for you about what are the idioms that you can use in the speaking test. What are these easy to apply idioms and broader context idioms? We're going to give you all this crisp material so that you don't waste time to study exactly what you need to, and then you move out of the process. Okay, we have sectional mocks. So we have 20 sectional mocks, 5 each in each section, and that will help you for your self-practice. We have previous live class recordings. So all these recordings, all these classes, they are recorded, they are put inside our app. They are accessible on the app and on the web, so you can access them there. And we have a strategy call. This is also very, very useful. The moment you enroll, we're going to get on a call with you. Again, one-on-one. So it's highly personalized. We tell you, we ask you where you are right now. Where do you want to go? How much time do you have? And what you should do in this time frame to reach here, to get this score. Okay, so I look forward to all of you becoming a Gold member. I'll see you there. I hope you learned something out of this lesson. I wish you all the very best. Keep practicing. Bye.